Reese.
Thank you. Dr. Thomason, roll call.
President Reese, members of the board, please let the record show that all 5 board members are present tonight.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and have our moment of silence, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And the pledge will be led by Ms. Hosaks, Brilliant Beginnings class from Sossaman Early Childhood Development Center. And in our moment of silence, if we could please think of the family of Giovanni Mariscal. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He was a student that we did lose last week. So keep their family and teachers and Coronado family in your thoughts and prayers, please. Good job, guys. Very nice. Thank you. Do you want to get a picture? Thank you to the Brilliant Beginnings class to lead our Pledge of Allegiance. That was really cute. All right, we're going to go on to 4.0, the approval of the agenda. I move that we approve the agenda.
Support.
Any questions on the agenda? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Superintendent's report.
Good evening, President Reese, members of the board. At this time, I would like to invite up Miss Patty Gleason to help us with some special recognitions that we have here for the board meeting tonight. So, Mrs. Gleason.
Here in Higley, and Stacy Utley is my wonderful assistant, affectionately known as Tosa. And so we would like to begin, and we're very honored tonight to be able to honor our Points of Pride for the preschools. And we're going to begin with our dynamic duo, teacher Denise Arzola Bass and Dawn Tani, our kindergarten prep team at Cooley. Come on up. So like I said, dynamic duo right here of kindergarten prep. These two have been teaching together for a very long time, and I thought how wonderful that they were chosen as our Points of Pride together this year. They have an amazing way of reaching out to the children in their class and their families as well to provide amazing learning opportunities and just getting to know them and working through problems. And oh my goodness, the two of these are masters at trying to find the answers to the problems so that they can help the families and children in their classrooms too. So we are so proud, and they're the first ones to reach out and help their colleagues too. So smiles every day, no matter how difficult that day might be. Do we have difficult days in preschool? Well, but we are so very, very happy to honor them both tonight. Our Points of Pride for... All right. And next we're going to honor our student at Cooley, and that is Carter Heffel. Carter, will you come on up here? And I would also like to bring his teacher, Miss Jessica Campuzano. She asked if she could speak tonight in honor of Carter. He has an older brother that's been in our center for a couple of years, so this is Carter's first time in school, and he's pretty amazing. I'm going to let his teacher tell you all about it.
All right, Carter, Mrs. Campuzano decided to write you a letter. Are you ready to hear your letter? Dear Carter, this year I am honored to be your first teacher at Cooley Early Childhood Development Center. You arrived to school with a smile on your face and a story to share. You show your passion for learning, and you have made this school a place to be and a part of your routine. Carter, your older brother Charlie attends our kinder preparatory program. To see the pride that you have for one another is inspiring and a true gift to our school. Carter, you model this relationship in our class by developing new friendships, sharing your kind heart and spirit, and making us laugh. You are able to share your accomplishments while continuing to challenge yourself in the classroom. Carter, you have established yourself as a lifelong learner. You are excited to grow and be a part of a community and our school family. It is my pleasure to honor you this evening to celebrate your successes and milestones this school year. Always in my heart, Mrs. Campuzano.
I know, preschool is the best. All right, now I would like to honor our volunteers for both preschools at the same time because they are members of our PTO. I need Kathleen Richards to come on up and Cheryl Engelstad, if you would please come. These are our PTO president and one of our vice presidents. And we honor these ladies today too. Again, we have two schools. We have one president, a vice president from each. And they have just spent amazing amounts of time putting together programs and field trips and buying extra and additional supplies for our teachers in the classrooms and just making our preschools even more exceptional than they already are. And again, just the countless hours that they give. We're very, very blessed to have them. So again, I would like to honor them tonight as well. Now we're going to move to Sossaman, and I would like to honor this time. I'm going to do Michael Graves. She is our one of our aides at Sossaman Elementary School, or Sossaman Preschool. Come on up, Michael. Michael, before she came to us this year, had her own licensed preschool in her home. She taught for 20 years there before she came to work with us here at Sossaman. She took care of many of our teachers' children, teachers in the district. She was caring for their children, and so it was natural progression for her then to move up and come to teach here at the preschool. She's been an amazing addition to our staff. Her creativity is off the charts, so if you are at Sossaman and you come and you see the beautiful artwork that's on the doors and all around, that's Michael. She's wonderful, and then she's sharing that talent with us too. So we couldn't be happier to have you here tonight and to honor you. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to honor Miss Molly McGill, our teacher point of pride at Sossaman ECDC. All right, Miss Molly came to us 2 years ago. She actually was teaching special ed for middle school and elementary, and so she actually decided to dip her toe in the pool of preschool special ed. And she's still here, which is really, really good. She actually has taken on the team lead role this year, and she has brought both centers together, working very diligently with all of our SPED preschool team to make sure that their IEPs are done and I's dotted and T's crossed and everything ready to go. But the one thing that she has developed such a love for our autistic community, and she is continually researching and learning about them. And she has also spearheaded a campaign for Autism Awareness Month that's coming up in April, and she's got some wonderful things planned. And we couldn't be more proud to welcome her to preschool, and this will be her home now forever, right? All right. Molly McGill. Okay, and last but not least, we have a special student from Sossaman ECDC that we would like to welcome and honor tonight, Miss Layton Accardo. Layton, come on up. All right. Layton is a pretty amazing little girl. She has a very tender heart and wonderful sense of humor, by the way, too. But she loves to help. And she has taken a special interest in a lot of our STARS kiddos. And she'll go out and she reaches out and she works with them and just welcoming them, playing with them whenever she can. Not only that, but to her classmates in her classroom, too. She's always has a smile on her face. And I know her teacher, Miss Marcosian, just couldn't be prouder to have her. And I hope I'm doing her justice here. Every day with a big hi and hello, and today she was so excited. I went into the classroom and she goes, Miss Gleason, I'm going to get a piece of paper tonight. Well, it's a little more than that, my dear, but we are just so glad. You are started on the right path. You keep going with that generous heart and that generous spirit, okay? We're very proud of you. Thank you, Ms. Gleason. And we would like to honor all of the families and support teams that are here today as well for our Points of Pride. So if you would stand up too, because they can't do their job without all of you. So we're very, very happy that you're here tonight as well. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. All right.
Where is Dr. Fowler? Mike?
Were you winking?
President Reese, members of the board, we do have some other upcoming events coming up this month. I'd like to remind the community that spring break starts March 13th and carries on to the 24th. And then we'll have our business partners breakfast at 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday, March 29th, with our next work study and board meeting on April 5th, starting at 5:30 and 6:30 respectively. And then on April 8th, we have our district's Arts Festival, which I hope everyone's able to attend because that is a big deal for our district, and it's an incredible opportunity to learn what we're doing and some different opportunities that we have within the district for our arts. So with that, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. And we'll go on to board comments. I know this last week I got to see the Higley High Winter Guard and the Williamsfield Winter Guard compete. They did great. It was fun to watch them. That's all I got. Anyone else have board comments?
President Reese.
Mrs. Kaler?
Higley High put on a fabulous performance of The Little Mermaid, and it was just amazing. Haven't seen a great production like that in a while, so I was very impressed. Also got to go over to Sossaman. They put on a outdoor patio band performance, food and chairs set up everywhere. It was a full house, and Mrs. Waros and Mr. Waros, I believe, put that on. It was fantastic. Even had a Elmo dress up during the Sesame Street song, which was great with the kids. So a lot of good things going on.
President Reese.
Mr. Gulliver?
I just wanted to say that I went to the Williamsfield production of Pride and Prejudice, and I just wanted to commend the kids and the director for working very hard on a difficult play.
Very nice. And I just wanted to add, I was able to attend Dr. Schillingberg's presentation for our new AP Capstone program, which will begin this next school year with incoming freshmen. So they did have meetings with 8th graders that have been identified that may be able to go through a rigorous program like that. So thank you. I know you did 2 different meetings, and I appreciate that. And if we don't have anything else, we're on to request to speak to the governing board. Mrs. Reach, do we have any requests? No requests tonight. Just kidding. Miss Blaine will always keep us on our toes, right? Right. So we do have a request to speak to the governing board, and we value the input from our constituents. This time has been set aside for anyone from the audience who wishes to address the board. Please remember this is not an appropriate venue to evaluate, discuss, or criticize district personnel. Policy KEB provides a process for complaints about personnel. Speakers should be aware that false statements about individuals may result in civil liability. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. So, June Blaine. Thank you.
Good evening, governing board members, cabinet members. Thank you for your time tonight. I would like to address a concern that the governing board has expressed in regards to teacher retention. While I understand your concern, I encourage you to look at a correlation between administration retention and teacher retention. I believe that if the Higley Unified School District worked to retain good administrators, we would automatically retain good teachers. One of the goals listed at the governing board is to attract, retain, and develop qualified personnel that share a positive visionary focus of excelling student achievement and growth. So the question is how? How do we do that? Thankfully, I think it's a simple answer. We show them that they're valued. Tonight you have an opportunity with different agenda items to show that you value the teachers, administrators, and staff members of the Higley Unified School District. So show you value administrators by approving the 1% stipend that was already approved for certified and classified staff members. Show elementary teachers that you value their time and approve the early release Wednesdays every week. Show all staff that you value their contributions to the Higley Unified School District and approve the proposed 2% increase to base salaries. I truly believe that if employees feel valued by the district, conversations about how to retain them won't be necessary. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. That's all we have for requests. Then we will go on to the consent agenda 7.0.
Madam President,
Mr. Glover?
I would like to make a motion that we separate out 7.1 and then we can cluster 7.2 through 7.7.
You want to separate 7.1?
Yes, please. Making a motion, so I'm hoping somebody seconds it.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
All right, Mr. Glover made a motion to separate 7.1, make it its own item. So then that would come off the consent agenda, and so the consent agenda then itself would be items 7.2 through 7.7. Mrs. Ford seconded that. Anyone have any questions or comments? So all in favor in separating them out?
Aye.
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 That motion carries 5-0. So then we will go, if you don't mind, may I go ahead and skip and do the consent agenda 7.2 first?
Yes.
Okay. So then I move that we approve the consent agenda as items 7.2 through 7.7.
I second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on any of those items? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. So now we're at 7.1. So I move that we approve item 7.1, which is the personnel action items.
Support.
Comments, discussion?
I have. That's why I wanted to separate it out.
Perfect.
Well, I just wanted to say that I received the information about the new principal of Williams Field on Tuesday at 3:30, and I had an event, didn't get home till 10 o'clock, and so the first chance I had to see anything really about the Williams Field principal position was today. And I am aware of the disruption at Williams Field High School, and I was very concerned after I was elected about making sure that we got the right person, because I know that it is no easy task to rebuild a school when something like that happens. It's one of the worst things other than a death or an arrest that happens. It's a difficult situation for anyone to walk into, and we have to take special care in instances like that, I think. As a board member, I've really been told nothing worth noting about the process, and I just think we have to do better than that. Losing a principal mid-year, as we did, isn't fun for anybody, and I would have liked, in this case, not every case, to have been a bit more involved in the process. I would have liked to have met Mr. Tannenbaum before tonight. I would have liked to have known his name before yesterday. Well, I mean, really today. I just was wondering if any other board members felt similarly, and I just think we can do better. And if I'm feeling not included in some of our processes, I can only imagine how some of our administrators, teachers, parents are feeling about some of our processes. If we don't start communicating better as a board and the superintendency, and the same can be said of every department at any institution, I think. You can never really over-communicate. Then we're not going to ever get any better or more effective than we are right now. So I welcome any other board comments, please.
Well, and Mr. Glover, I think Ms. Good we were limited on our involvement due to conflict of interest. I don't disagree that at least understanding and knowing the process, how that came about. And I think that falls, Dr. Thomason, that falls on me. I was aware of the process, and my bad, I'm assuming that I was aware of the process, that the other board members were aware of the process. So just as a recap, we had more than probably 60 people.
President Reese, members of the board, I would like to invite up Dr. Randy Mellerwine, who was very intimate in running the process, to the podium to talk about the process and the extent of the community staff involvement in the process.
Thank you. President Reese, governing board members, Dr. Thomas and cabinet, thank you. So we were given a timeline to begin the process about a month ago after the posting had closed. So once the posting closed, we did a paper screening of the 17, 18 applicants that were there, and we took the top 6 that paper screened out above the cut. At that point, we included an 11-member panel. There were 4 community members, parents. There were 4 teachers. There was a classified member from Williamsfield, and then there was 2 district-level people. There was 11 people. From that, we took our top 3 candidates. In that process, our top 2 candidates went on to the second round because one of the top 3 pulled out of the application process because they took a job in another school district. At that point, we created 3 different focus groups at Williamsfield High School. I believe it was last Tuesday evening. And we had an academic focus group, an athletic and activities focus group, and we had a community focus group. Within that focus group, I believe there were, give or take 1 or 2, I can't remember the exact numbers because it did get a little fluid that night. We had a couple parents show up that I wasn't counting on being there, and so we let them be a part of the process. It was just they didn't follow back when we emailed out and request, but they were on the original list, so we let them participate. I believe we had 14 parents. I think we had 16 students and 14 staff members, which when you add it to the other, that would be like 18 staff members, 18 parents. It was quite a bit. I believe the number was close to 60 parents, students, community members. We had 4 people from the district office that was involved in the process. After that process ended, and I can show you the questions and all the documents if you would like to see them. Once that process ended, we had 1 candidate that stood out clearly above the rest in all three of the processes, and that was Mr. Tannenbaum, who I believe is the candidate that's going to be recommended to the board tonight. And that was kind of the process. We planned on doing the evening of last week, the week prior. But when the timeline was set up, nobody was notified. I was out of town at a conference on the back end and then an Avid conference on the front end of a week, so we really couldn't put it in that week. So we pushed it back, and then we really wanted to make sure that we had all the data in place to take it to Dr. Schoenberg and Dr. Thomason. So I forgot that fourth process. Dr. Schoenberg and Dr. Thomason interviewed the top two, and they took the recommendation of the community was put forward.
So, Dr. Mellman, thank you for that work. I didn't know any of that till just now. So, if you were sitting in my shoes, would you be comfortable with this process? I mean, don't you think we can do a little bit better communicating this whole process? And board, would you agree?
President Reese, members of the board, Mr. Glover, I do apologize. The process was sent out in superintendent reports before you were an elected member of the board. That was a problem on my part. I should have included you and including you with that process too. We did set up the process in late October, and then I did send that out once again in December for the board, stating that we were starting the process for the principal search in January. I apologize for that.
Mr. Glover, my apologies as well. For the sake of the integrity of the process, I really kind of kept Dr. Thomason out of everything as we went along the way, so I probably could have communicated better myself, so my apologies.
Yeah, I just want us to be good communicators. That's a criticism I've heard, about. And so, as long as the more, again, you can't over communicate. That's all, I guess, is my point. So, thank you.
And as far as more information, I know there was requests of having board members on any of those panels, and because of the conflict of interest, since we are the approvers, we were unable to do so. And I apologize, trying to keep up with what was going on when you came on, and I know here we are in March, and again, I too will also make sure that everyone's up to speed on that. As far as receiving the information yesterday, we did have to wait for information to come back to us for a letter of intent before that could come to us. So that was the delay in getting it to the board before tonight. And the timeline, we felt it was important to make sure we have someone in place before our teacher contracts go out, so that our teachers were aware of who their principal was going to be.
President Reese?
Mrs. Ford?
All that's understandable, but I concur with Mr. Glover. It's just a little awkward to just the night before be given, or the day of, just be given a name of a new principal at a school that's been in the spotlight just to approve, without any other information prior to that, leading up to it. It's just not a very good process. Now, I know that we need to be out of it somewhat, but we can get high-level information and checking points along the way of where we're at, so it's not just oh, here you go, approve this tonight. It's awkward.
I absolutely agree. And this is the first time we've done this particular process. So definitely learning experience, notes, that we make sure that I agree. So we've completed this step, now we're on to this step and everything.
President Reese, if I may I?
Yes.
Just to add one thing, so as a teacher, when you start planning lessons, one of the things you do is you begin with the end in mind. And I think it would behoove us if we knew that this was the date that we had to have the the action approved. Really, the timelines and planning should be worked backwards so that we're not given just one day to digest something. So, beginning with the end in mind is important in any process.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion on 7.1? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed?
Mrs. Ford, did you?
I said aye.
Okay. So the motion carries 4-1.
President Reese, members of the board, as you've just approved the new principal of Williamsfield High School, although your need for better communication is due noted, I do want to say that I think the process was very thorough, and it did give us an amazing candidate who is actually here. And please don't take this as a reflection that we are not totally thrilled and excited that you are here and going to be part of this, of our district. Steve Tannenbaum is here with his family, so I'd ask him to stand and be recognized. And that is his lovely wife who just walked in. So, Steve, if you'd like to introduce your family.
Mommy went the wrong way. Hi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and welcome to Higley.
Hold on to your hat.
All right, we don't have anything under old business, so we're going to go ahead and go on to our action and information items. 9.1 is our information item for our monthly governing board financial report for February of 2017. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Holland? All right. Then we will go on to 9.2, the approval of an agreement for reimbursement for cost of obtaining a visa.
Make the motion.
I second.
Amy. All right, any questions, comments regarding this item?
Well, Madam President,
Mr. Glover?
I talked to Dr. Thomason about this, and I think it would be helpful if you, I don't know if all of you have talked to him or not about it, but if you could just explain the reasoning. Once I talked to you about it, I totally understood.
President Reese, members of the board, Mr. Glover, the reason why we wanted to bring this cost forward is because we do get some teachers that require the need for visas and the need for workers' permanent residency cards. And so we help those employees obtain those items up front, and the same as we do with our bus drivers, that the training and the information we give them, we do request that they stay with us for a certain amount of time, so we are reimbursed for the cost of those items. If they leave us within 3 years, then they're responsible for a portion of that cost back, and it's a scale that decreases year after year until they've been with us for 3 years.
Superintendent Thompson, you didn't mention the particular program this is referring to, though, too.
This program
People that would
specifically at this time is referring to our Mandarin Chinese program that we have at the elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Any other questions? Thank you for explaining. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. 9.3 is also an approval of an agreement for reimbursement for costs of obtaining a permanent resident card.
I move that we approve the reimbursement for costs of obtaining a permanent resident card.
Second.
And Mr. Glover, this is the same? Okay. No. So, Dr. Thomason, it's the same explanation?
Absolutely. So the
Just
cost
clarify.
of bringing in a worker from overseas is quite high to the district, as you can see from the amounts. And so if they leave us within a year, or they decide they want to go work for another school district or another entity, then we would recoup some of the cost of what the district puts out up front.
Any other questions on this item? Then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. 9.4, the approval of the weekly elementary early release Wednesday for 2017-18 school year.
I make the motion, please.
Second.
Any questions, comments? I know our teachers use this a lot for their, with their professional learning communities, and it is valuable to their time.
I'd just like to say it's a wonderful program that we offer to our teachers.
Any other? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. 9.5 is the issuance of administrative contracts with a 2% increase of the base salary with the addendums for the 2017-18 school year.
Do you need a motion, President Reese?
I do.
Then I make the motion.
I second.
Any questions, comments, discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. 9.6, the issuance of classified exempt work agreements with a 2% increase to the base salary for the 2017-18 school year.
I make the motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments on this one? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. 9.7 is the issuance of certified employee contracts with a 2% increase of base salary for the 2017-18 school year.
I make the motion.
Second.
Any questions on this one?
I just have a comment, if I may.
You may.
I'm not always tough. I just want to congratulate Dr. Thomason and the team. I think it's great to be able to give this raise to our teachers, and I'm glad to be able to do it. So I will proudly vote appropriately in just a moment.
Any other comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Thomason, I do have a question. As those were the 3 items before us, when will we be doing the at-will work agreements for our classified staff?
President Reese, members of the board, you did just approve the contract language for the classified staff, and they will be issued probably in early April.
Okay. Thank you. All right, 9.8 is the recommendation for a stipend in the amount of 1% of the base salary from 2016-17 Prop 123 funds for all administrative employees.
I make the motion.
Second.
And I have a comment on this one. There was a lot of confusion last time. It was not to devalue anybody. I do value our administrators. I think we have great administrators. It was a discussion I did have with Dr. Thomason that morning on the intent of using that money for our all of our non-administrative certified employees. So it was not in any way to say I don't appreciate our administrators, because I do appreciate our administrators. The discussion we were having, and the intent of it was to be able to offer our non-administrative certified or classified, our non-administrative classified employees something additional. With these employees going 6 weeks per school year without pay, a lot of them are our aides who are with these students every day, all day. And it was to try and give them something as well in addition. So in no way, shape, or form was the intent to say we do not value our administrators. I know pretty much all of our administrators, and I value every single one of them. So that was not the intent. Dr. Thomason was able to be able to adjust some funds so that we could cover this as well as our next item. So I wanted to clarify that, and Like I said, when I talked to Dr. Thomason the morning of our board meeting, that was not the intent. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I can speak for probably the rest of the board as well, that they feel the same way, so. All right, Mr. Ratovich. If nothing else is to be said, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion carries 5-0. So we go on to 9.9, which is the recommendation for a stipend in the, I've just got a quick question on this. The approximate, why do we have an approximate? Why does it?
President Reese, members of the board, at this time, we would like to honor all of our staff with the remaining funds that we had from the 1, 2, 3 for the 16-17 school year. And so we do want to leave that a little bit open in case we can give them more. We don't know how many staff will be returning and how many staff we'll have to divide that pot up with. And so it would be approximately 2/3 used for the certified non-administrative staff and 1/3 utilized for the classified staff.
Okay. These amounts, though, it would not be less than these amounts, but it could be more.
It could be more, but we have it calculated so it would not be less.
Okay. No, I was just clarifying
Okay.
the reason of the
Sure.
language.
I'd like to make the motion.
Second.
So Mr. Ratovich makes the motion of the, to approve the recommendation of a stipend in the amount of approximately $200 for all non-administrative returning and retiring certified employees, and a stipend in the amount of approximately $100 for all non-administrative classified employees.
Second.
Ms. Ford seconds. Any questions?
President Reese,
Mrs. Kaler?
I too just want to reiterate that a couple weeks ago, when this was brought before us, it was not only confusing, but it wasn't to devalue anyone. In fact, I think we were trying to show all the other staff how much we value them as well, and maybe perhaps it didn't come across that way to many of you. And so on behalf of myself, I apologize if that was a reflection of the board in any way, shape, or form. I think that we all felt that way. Being up here, though, I can honestly say sometimes when a decision comes to us and we don't have time to chew on it, and it just, you can't think about the whole ripple effect sometimes. And so I, too, just want to reiterate that we value our admin down to our crossing guards and everybody in between. And I just want to make sure that that is put out to our community and especially to all of our employees. So thank you, Dr. T, for bringing this back, Dr. Thomason, sorry, bringing us back so quickly so that we can make this right. I appreciate finding the funds so that this was going to take place. Thank you.
President Reese, members of the board, I would like to thank our finance department for helping us make that happen, and also our HR department and our incredible administrators that we have out there for being understanding and supportive of what's happening at the district level too.
Yes. Thank you. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Any other future agenda items? I know we're still working on some of these. We have some stuff coming to us in April.
Madam President, in reference to the high school guidance counseling program, Dr. Thomason, I was at a training last Friday, and the state of Arizona implemented a new program for students that are in community college and for dual enrollment students. If they have 12 credits in dual enrollment, if they go directly from high school into the universities, as they go through the university, once they obtain 60 credits, they are eligible to apply for an associate degree. So it's a wonderful program, and I hope we begin to start promoting that as it comes more information available for us on that. So,
President Reese, members of the board, Mr. Ratovich, I do have that in the superintendent's report, and we will be rolling that out to our high schools, but not just our high schools, also to our other staff members, our classified and administrative and teaching staff that want to go back and take a look at the reverse program that Chandler Gilbert Community College offers.
Yes, thank you for
Sure.
sharing that information. Anything else to add?
Oh, maybe not yet, but I just want to mention it. I'd be interested in learning more about our dual enrollment, and how much is coming in, how it's spent, teachers what we're doing to help them get qualified and things like that. But I don't know that we need to add it, but it's on my radar, I guess. Maybe next agenda or my next meeting, maybe once we clear the cache here of some of these other things.
Right, and I know in April we have one meeting, so, sorry, in March, sorry, I'm on spring break.
It's March 8th.
This is our last meeting in March, so maybe we can get that on one of our April meetings.
President Reese, members of the board, I would like to suggest that we have the Auditor General's report also put on the future agenda items, so we can make sure that we take a look at that and explore all the different areas that Higley is excelling in the state with our Auditor Generals, from our finances to our student academics to our transportation.
Perfect. Do we have that up on our website already?
We do not at this time, but I can make sure we get it up. My thought process was to make sure that I had answered any questions from the board and then get it out there.
I don't know about the rest of the board. I would like to see that get on our website as soon as possible, because it does show what a great job we're doing, and I would hate for that to be delayed because we don't have another meeting for the remainder of March. So that would just be my thought, so our community can be aware.
I will work with our Michelle Reese to make sure that gets up by Friday.
Thank you.
I have one question. Have we set a date in reference to honoring our academic high school students yet?
We have not set that date. I think there's a few small questions we need to answer, and then we want to make sure we move forward with that. It would be in April that we have time set up for it, though.
Okay.
All right, well, it looks like that's all we have, so I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening.